tested, he's not been hit on the chin. Dillian Whyte can whack, and he's in great shape. And I think that Dillian's going to take this fight and go in there and go, you know what? He's going to roll the dice and punch when, you know, Moses does. And I think that is the importance here. Dillian's got to take the chance early.
You know, it could. I think it might be too soon for Moses. I think Moses is on a great run. I think Dillian, you know, if he had more momentum, it would be. I could probably stamp my authority on the decision a bit more.
Questions for Moses. Is he ready for this level? Can he take a shot? What's he like when the going gets tough? Is he overrated?
Boxing experts are raising concerns about Moses Itauma stepping into the ring with Dillian Whyte, warning that the bout could be dangerous due to Whyte's power and extensive experience. Derek Chisora has also voiced surprise at Whyte's decision to take the fight, pointing out that Itauma is still in the early stages of his development and not yet operating at the same level. Many in the boxing world believe Itauma should build more experience before taking on such a formidable and seasoned opponent, fearing the risk could derail his promising career prematurely.
I had a phone call a couple of weeks ago. They offered me to fight Moses Itauma in Saudi. You know, I said, how much? He said, 2 million. I said, nah, I'm out. I even phoned Dylan. I was like, Dylan, I don't know why you're taking this fight, you know, because this kid is on fire right now. And he's getting better and better. It's not like he's going backwards, he's going forward.
One of the reasons he is taking it is that Moses is WBO #1 at the moment, so that there's some kind of light at the end of the tunnel for Dillian taking that fight.
Ain't no light at the end of that tunnel.
I agree with you. I think Moses... I don't think Dillian gets beyond 4 or 5 rounds.
You're crazy. Yeah. There's no light in that tunnel. That kid is... No, you mad. No way. Even Lawrence Okoli said Moses is bad.
Dean Whyte has voiced concern over the timing of Moses Itauma's proposed fight with Dillian Whyte, suggesting the challenge might be too much for the young fighter at this stage of his career. While acknowledging Moses's clear talent and potential, Dean points out that he is still in the early phases of his professional journey. He stresses that success in boxing isn't just about raw skill. It also requires experience and the ability to perform under pressure. With a long career ahead of him, Dean believes Moses should avoid rushing into a bout against a battle-tested and dangerous opponent like Dillian, who has faced top-tier fighters on the biggest stages. He urges Moses and his team to seriously consider the risks before stepping into the ring with someone of Whyte's caliber.
He's the new kid on the block, the kid with the thunder, big punch in southpaw. He's predicted to be the leading boy of the heavyweight division. So, I mean, look, it's a crossroads fight, obviously, as you could look at it. They're saying they're hoping that the baton will be passed from him beating Dillian. I think Dillian's got other ideas. And Dillian's a man that's never should be written off. I think it might be too soon for Moses. I think Moses is on a great run. I think Dillian, you know, if he had more momentum, it would be, I could probably stamp my authority on the decision a bit more. But still, Dillian's pressing, he's working hard. And if Dillian's up for it, that experience, you know, is going to play a pivotal role in that fight.
Moses Itauma has opened up about his preparations for the upcoming fight, emphasizing the intense work he's putting in alongside his coaching team. He speaks with confidence about his training regimen, noting that every session is carefully crafted to refine his technique and build peak conditioning. While some in his camp have voiced concerns about the tough challenge ahead, Moses brushes them off, insisting that only he truly understands his own capabilities. He trusts in his strength, mindset, and ability to perform under pressure against a seasoned opponent like Dillian Whyte. His focus remains locked on sticking to his game plan and proving that he belongs in the ring with one of the most experienced heavyweights in the division.
There's nothing to kind of deal with, because it's like the only thing you can do is either get angry or ignore it. So I choose to keep in control of my emotions. So I just kind of ignore it. Like, I'm just only on my own path. Everybody's got their own journey. Everybody's got their own thing. But like, I'm not trying to compare anything.
Yeah.
And and we was just talking about it with my coaches yesterday. It was like, you know, a lot of people put pressure because they're too worried about the outcome. I'm not worried about the outcome. I'm worried about the game plan, and then the game plan leads to the outcome. So I don't think of things that I can't control. Your opinions I can't control. Like, for example, like if I go to bed today, I wake up tomorrow morning, I still got to play the Moses Itauma role.
Yeah.
So my feelings and my feelings and opinions of myself can't be based on what someone else thinks of me, because you don't have to play the Moses Itauma role 24/7. I do. So I just choose to ignore him.
Dillian Whyte, right? I mean, I think it surprised a few when he got announced. It was like, okay, and all of a sudden people were like, this is an interesting fight, old lion versus young lion. What do you make of Dillian Whyte and where he is now in his career? I think I might be boxing the best Dillian Whyte there is, because, you know, this is his last chance. So I just got to kind of stop him from coming back into the division. To be honest, for a long time,
Dillian Whyte has delivered a clear and direct message to Moses Itauma, warning him not to make the mistake of underestimating his opponent. He emphasizes that he's not someone to take lightly, pointing to his experience, toughness, and relentless fighting spirit as qualities that set him apart from anyone Moses has faced so far. Dillian draws a sharp contrast between their levels of experience, stating that his years in the ring, grueling battles, and ability to thrive under pressure give him an edge that youth and raw talent can't match. He makes it clear he's entering the fight with something to prove, and that Moses should be ready for a dangerous, battle-hardened opponent who won't back down.
I ain't frustrated media, I was frustrated people talking shit, and then when they come and see him in shape and different mindset, then they start changing their minds and opinion. I'm like, yo, I have the same energy, bro. I have the same energy. When I'm 118, 120 kilos, I have the same energy, because now I'm light and I look like I'm in shape. Then now everybody's like, oh, yeah. I'm like, yo, come on, man. You know, I don't need to be 100% to win some fights, because I'm a fighter, I know what to fight. He's had more amateur fights than me and all of this other shit. You know, he's doing what he's meant to know. And one thing is, he's got the what's the word I'm looking for? The ignorance of inexperience. You know, I didn't say it right, but I'm tired. Yeah, ignorance of youth or whatever the it is. Yeah, I'm not a chump, bro. You know, I'm not a chump. You know, obviously people writing me up, but I'm not a chump. I'm not a chump. So let's see what happens Saturday.
Dillian, one word. What can we expect on Saturday night?
What I always bring, man. I always bring that. With me, there's always that unpredictability in the ring. You know what I mean?
I sparred Dillian the last time when he fought against Fury, and he developed very good. Like, he's in good shape for his upcoming fight against Itauma. I think he's in great shape.
A training partner who has been working closely with Dillian Whyte has shared candid insights into the heavyweight's current condition ahead of the fight. He reveals that Dillian is looking physically sharper than he has in a long time, moving with purpose and precision during training sessions. His punches are landing with serious power, his footwork is crisp, and his stamina in sparring has been nothing short of impressive. According to the training partner, Dillian's focus has been on another level, showing just how seriously he's taking this fight, a mindset that could pose serious problems for Moses Itauma.
Now, Itauma only had about 20 or so amateur fights. He has done a lot of sparring, but again, sparring is behind closed doors. You're in an environment that you feel comfy in. You're away from the scrutiny of the camera. You're not allowed, strictly speaking, you're not really allowed, and most gyms won't allow you to record a spar. They might show you a glimpse of footage, but you're talking 5 seconds, maybe, if even. So he's been kind of away in his own comfort zone. He's fought on big shows as co-main event. I believe him against McKeon was co-main event on Fury USEC 2. But again, he's going in as the firm favourite against the fighter he's expected to beat, and he's he's the bridesmaid, right? He's fought in the he's fought in the York Hall a couple of times. He's fought low down the card. You know, Itauma's always been that guy. You know, he can learn his craft. He's not strictly, you know, the eyes of the world are on you, etc. Getting bigger, and, you know, more people are talking about him, but still, you know, comfy at his own pace. Now his first headline. Bear in mind, Joshua's first headline, I believe, was at the O2 against Gary Cornish. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but I know he headlined that night. And This is his first headline. A pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia against Dillian Whyte, and all the media work that comes with it. You did a face-off on Monday. You had the grand arrivals yesterday. You're doing the public workout today. You're doing the press conference tomorrow. You're doing the weigh-in tomorrow. Or you're doing the weigh-in on Friday. Now you're doing fight night on Saturday. You'll have a press conference most likely after. Lots going on. Lots going on for a young man of 20. How is he caking all that? And that's what I'm wondering. It really, again, you know, you compare him to maybe someone like an Anthony Joshua, and it's like, well, AJ had, you know, all this experience in the amateurs. He had, you know, the Sky, you know, machine behind him and stuff like that. But he was a lot older than Itauma. Again, how old would AJ have been? What, mid to late 20s? 25, 26, thereabouts. So old enough to be, you know, a bit more sturdy in that. Does have me wondering with Itauma. It is a wonder. But personally, I think Itauma, when I look at him, I think that there's something there with this kid. I think he's got an old head on young shoulders. I think that this is the first, look, it's his first time headliner, it's the first pay-per-view. Probably will be jitters.
Boxing analysts recognize that Moses Itauma displays a level of maturity well beyond his years, both inside and outside the ring. They commend his impressive skill set, discipline, and the solid foundation built through over 20 amateur bouts and countless sparring rounds. However, they also highlight that this upcoming fight marks a significant jump in competition. Stepping in with Dillian Whyte means facing a fighter who has shared the ring with world champions and elite contenders. This leap in opposition will challenge not only Moses's technical abilities, but also his mental resilience and ability to adapt under the spotlight against a seasoned and dangerous veteran.
No, relax. Moses has been performing under the bright lights, but what I'm saying is, it's still so early and he's got a lot to prove. Up until this point, I can't argue. He's passed every test with flying colours, but the problem is, he's passed so easily, he's missed out on valuable lessons along the way, and he's now got a very experienced veteran in front of him in Dillian Whyte, who's been at world level. Everybody's written Dillian off, but recently, seeing interviews and seeing training footage, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I've got to be honest, my mind's starting to shift. Let's take a look and discuss the key takeaways.
I don't think I've ever seen you be this big an underdog in a fight. You are like 1-14.
Dev asked Dillian, how does he feel being the underdog?
And that's what makes you dangerous. As an underdog, you're underneath. You get up at them testicles and lock onto them, and it's game over.
It's crazy really because, like I said, he's fought at world level, fighting the likes of Povetkin, Fury, Chisora, AJ, Parker, the list goes on. But in sports, you're only as good as your last performance. In Dillian's last fight, he looked terrible, putting it politely.
Has he put something in you? Because like your last few fights, Ebenezer like instilled a fear, not...
No man has put anything in me. Pause this.
Dillian does make me laugh. Dark humour. But maybe that says more about me. He says it the way it is. There's no sugarcoating. Dev says, is this the biggest risk he's took in his career? Which again is madness.
All of them has been massive because you think no one's ever had me as the favourite. Think of one fight that was the favourite. Just think.
Dylan's right. He's always the underdog. It's nothing new.
How do you reflect on your fight with Tete?
It was what it was. Listen, I've been walking the long, lonely, dark road for 3 years.
This is the thing. People forget that fighters go through things outside of the ring which affect the performance, but us fans only judge the performance. At the end of the day, fighters are human, they're not robots.
Then that fight for me was ask myself a question. Can I take a good whack and push through? Can I force myself to put the jabs in? Can I...
He admits he wasn't in great shape, but that fight for him was about dipping his foot in the water and seeing if he still got it and still wants it.
I had a few injuries and stuff going into the fight, but it's what it was. But that fight reignited the spot.
Some analysts are framing this fight as a make-or-break moment for Dillian Whyte. They believe that a loss to a rising talent like Moses Itauma could signal the end of his run at the top level of the sport. This high-stakes pressure, they argue, makes Dillian more dangerous than ever, as he'll be fighting with urgency, grit, and a determination to prove he still belongs among boxing's elite. Dillian knows that a win would re-establish him as a serious contender, while a defeat would cast serious doubt on his future in the ring. With so much on the line, many expect him to come out with one of the most aggressive and determined performances of his career.
All of a sudden,
People have seen the shape that I saw a video, which I'm guessing you guys have seen as well, of Dillian Whyte hitting the heavy bag and doing a bit of shadow boxing. He looked incredible. Dillian Whyte, me and G-Man did the look back, didn't we? Dillian Whyte versus Chisora. And Dillian Whyte looked in incredible shape there. And I was thinking, if he can get close to that, he's close to that. He's close to that. Dillian Whyte in his last few fights has been around the 260 mark. I think it might have even been heavy for a couple. I think he looks low 250s. And all I can ask from a fighter, this is why I get so pissed off with Martin Bakole, just get in shape. Like, skill's skill. You're not going to change a fighter from fucking where you are to Muhammad Ali. I'm not asking for that. Just get in shape. Dillian Whyte has ticked that box. And he's like, okay, if you think I'm going over to Saudi Arabia just to get smoked by this 20-year-old, we'll see. That's what I'm taking from the shape I'm seeing him in, because he looks incredible. And also, when he's firing out his jab in that little shadow boxing, his arms are so long. Like, Dillian Whyte, compared to his body structure, he has overly long arms. What I'm getting at is that Dillian Whyte can box a bit as well, you know. He's not just a brawler. Like, he's been tagged as this brawler. He can box a little bit. Is he a better boxer than Moses? No. But that jab could be key. Jab's always key, right? We always talk about it. But one thing I see with Dillian Whyte being in this shape is that he's saying, if I can take this young boy past 6, we're going to go into deep waters that this young boy's never been before. And it's all well and good Moses saying, I'm sparring 10 rounds, I'm sparring 12 rounds. And, I was on TalkSport when he mentioned this yesterday. Fighting 10 rounds is different. Fighting 12 rounds is different. Dillian Whyte's done that. And look, sometimes Dillian Whyte's blown out of his ass. Sometimes Dillian Whyte's been beat in those 12-round fights. But Dillian Whyte has done that. There's a difference. And Dillian Whyte, for me, looks like a guy that's in shape to go the distance, or to at least to ask questions of this young pup.
A TalkSport boxing analyst has offered an intriguing perspective, noting that while Dillian Whyte hasn't looked his best in recent outings, there's a clear shift this time around. The analyst observes that Dillian's current form is noticeably improved, warning that many may be underestimating him. He points to increased training intensity, strategic adjustments, and a significant boost in physical condition as signs that this version of Dillian could catch a lot of people off guard. This fight, he suggests, isn't just a major test for Moses Itauma. It's also a golden opportunity for Dillian to remind the boxing world exactly what he's capable of.
That since late 18, right? I remember him knocking out Lucas Brown. When he knocked out Lucas Brown, he looked like he was in the best shape of his life. He looks similar or better now, which is very impressive. And I think, like Terrence Crawford, people are now looking at Dillian Whyte. Seeing is believing. When we see results, we start believing in those results. I think now people understand that Dillian Whyte has taken this very seriously. He's been out of the ring for a long time. His last 2 opponents quit. Teta and Hammer, they both quit. And I think that Dillian, this is his last hurrah. If it's his last hurrah, if it's his last time to shine, he has nothing to lose. Why not go out with a bang? Why not go in the best shape possible? Why not do what you're supposed to do in training camp? Okay, because you can't really predict what happens in that ring except you and that other guy. It's up to you or that other guy. But in training camp, you have a team around you. You have determination. You have motivation. You have discipline, more than likely. Okay? And I think that Dillian Whyte is looking great, bro. He is looking great. He doesn't have the unbalanced body type like you normally see him. He's too big upper body, legs are small. You know what I mean? He's all off balance because of the imbalance of his body. But I do think that Dillian Whyte will come in to make a splash. And this is how you're supposed to look if you intend on doing it. I love the way he looks. He looks great. He looks in shape. He looks like he's ready for a battle. That's what it's about.